This is a battlefield herb. It's edible, it's associated with healing wounds and fevers, and even makes you sweat. Anyone from Achilles to the Vikings used to take it into battle with them, just in case they got a little bit hurty, which can happen in battles. It can also maybe find out who your future husband or wife might be. And it's called yarrow. A battlefield herb? What are you talking about, man? You can't take herbs into battle, you need swords. Well, actually there were some people that thought certain herbs would make them invincible, but that's another story for another time. This is a battlefield herb because it's like a woundwort. It was used for packing wounds and for treating wounds. And part of the name of it, Achillea or something, and I don't usually use Latin, but it's Achillea something. The story goes that even Achilles took it into battle. It was given to him by one of the gods or something to keep his wounds safe, apart from the one on his heel, obviously. And the Vikings too were known to take it into battle for the same reason. Lots of plants have the name woundwort because in the past, the sort of national pastime was beating the hell out of each other with axes, so everybody was covered in cuts and bruises. So things that you could pack into wounds that either helped it as with inflammation or something which actually didn't do it any harm or any good, but just packed the wound like a bandage, was extremely useful, and this is one of those. As I mentioned earlier on, it's a diaphoretic. What on earth is a diaphoretic? A diaphoretic is something that makes you sweat. So a driving test is a diaphoretic. An exam is a diaphoretic. Debt is a diaphoretic. I suppose the sun is a diaphoretic too. And yarrow is a diaphoretic too, and it helps you sweat and sweat out an illness or a fever. Edible, you say? What does it taste like? So it's got a sort of bitter, slightly sort of citrus, herby sort of flavour. I mean, obviously the leaves are quite small, so you need a great deal of it to make a meal, but it could add a little bit of flavour to a salad. And how's it going to find you a future spouse? Well, apparently in Celtic folklore, particularly ladies used to put this under their pillow and hopefully they would dream of or figure out who their partner was going to be. But it has been associated with that with lots of different cultures. Also, flowering yarrow is associated with a hot summer. Look, there are yarrow flowers. It must be a hot summer, because it's really, really hot and all the grass has gone brown and there's tons of tourists and there's a constant smell of sultan everywhere. Easy to identify, these little sort of bunches of white flowers. Now, it's not a true umbellifer. I used to think it was, but it actually isn't. But it does have a similar sort of shape. And there are some people that confuse these with other kinds of umbellifers like, well, things like hogweed and hemlock, etc. I mean, it's obviously an awful lot smaller. These little white flowers have little yellow centres on them and they're very, very tightly packed together. And the leaves are almost unmistakable, these very feathery sorts of leaves. The only leaf which is even remotely similar is something like fennel maybe, but that's quite different. So there it is, yarrow, Vikings and Achilles, finding a future partner and getting very, very sweaty. And on that note, have a wonderful day.